One. What's happening, SteelersNation? What's going on, man? Happy you guys doing? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a lovely evening. Looks like I'm pushed up a little too far here in the camera, but we're going to rock with it. We're going to just let it rock tonight. I don't feel like adjusting all of that. But how's everybody doing, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, a.k.a. the virtual Heinz Field. We're going to dive in because tonight's tonight. Tonight is tonight. It is the night for you guys to call in. This is the night for phone calls. The calls, the voice of SteelersNation. Phone number is right there on the screen, 619-924-0818. I repeat, 619-924-0818. I want to hear you guys' calls. I don't want to be too long with my speech or what have you. Want to hear what you guys have to say, and let's get into it. So, first and foremost, let's say hello to the early commenters. Mr. Winningham first. How you doing, sir? Glad to see you. Brent Fox, extended family member. Jack Bauer, In the Green TV, A Sincere Review, my good buddy Ron Simpson Gaming, Tony B, Lagoon Tours Bahamas, Football Mind 02. Who else we got up in here? Charlie Brown, Reggie Reg, Brother Mark 1992, good buddy Y Diggy, extended family member in the building, Joshua Shields. Who else we got off up in here? Rajon 39, Miss Sade, extended family member. Hello, Miss Sade. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with the boys tonight. And we got Mr. Elman. Mr. Elman as well, extended family member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Appreciate you tuning in. Still a Freak, Banor Johnson, and Myron. Who was that? I just missed it. I just went past it. Myron Sanders. Miss Debbie. Miss Destiny. Hello, lovely ladies. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Destiny, I think we missed you a couple of weeks, man. So good to see you back. Hope all is well. Hope you had a lovely holiday. And again, I have to say that. Hope all is well, because things are not always well, guys. So, we always have to make sure we're all doing good. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, man, let's get into it. There's father-in-law Leonard, Wave Dave as well, extended family member. Appreciate you as well. All right, I'm going to tell you guys what I'm talking about. Try to be as brief as I can because I really, 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 really want to get to the phone calls more than anything else. Of course, I'll give you a few things that I pulled from Tomlin's presser. We'll talk about the injury list as far as, those guys who were injured in game, and the COVID list, those guys who didn't play, who we might expect to get back, things of that nature. Also, tonight I have some questions for you guys. I have questions and I have a discussion. I want to talk about what's up with Matt Canada. Why is RayRay playing more than James Washington? And is the offense really missing the absence of JuJu SmithSchuster? Those are a couple questions I'm going to throw at you guys first and foremost. And I guess the bulk, or my main topic that I usually do after the phone calls, we'll talk about, is this Ben Roethlisberger's final game at Heinz Field? And I will expound on that again after the phone calls. I usually like to end the show with whatever I'm talking about in the title or thumbnail, and most of the time those things coincide. All right, so that's what I'm going to talk about. But before I do all of that, unfortunately, there's another rest in peace that's in order. There's another rest in peace that is in order, and I'm going to give a moment of silence. Let me kill the music. Yes. In case you guys have not already heard the news, I just saw it a little while ago. It looks like everyone is reacting to it at the same time, so the news must have just broken. But legendary football coach John Madden has passed away at age 85 years old. Apparently it happened earlier today, or the NFL got news of it earlier today. Who knows if it was today or if it was yesterday, but semantics doesn't really matter at this point. Semantics, it doesn't matter. So, man, a big rest in peace to John Madden, and before I give him his moment of silence, again, if you're into football, if you are a football fan, like all of us are, if you have been watching football for years, some of you older gentlemen and ladies that may have been watching football, back in the 70s and things of that nature, you would remember John Madden, and the Immaculate Reception and all of that. And maybe you guys watched his special on Christmas Day. I actually didn't get a chance to watch it, but I plan to watch the rerun. And then from that point on, just, him kind of being groundbreaking in his own way, being his own man, being his own guy as a coach, doing it his way. He became a legend that way. And then, of course, if you came up in the era that I came up in, then he introduces John Madden football. And until today, we're still playing Madden, even though, I won't take this moment to get on EA Sports, but I will just say this: Madden hasn't been the Madden of yesteryear. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, the glory days of Madden are not right now, and they have to find a way to get back to that, which is strange given that the technology is better now. But, again, I'm not going to go down that EA Sports road here. But, again, it's been a part of your life in some way, shape, or form, whether you remember him as a coach or his legendary presence and performance as a commentator with Pat Summerall, and whether you remember all of the bing, dunk, and all of those noises that he would make, and pop, pow, all of that stuff as a commentator. We remember that, you remember that as a kid or whatever age you were. So, and then like I said, then you were playing the game, the video game. So it's like John Madden was a legend, 85 years old, man. And that's, he lived a full life, to get 85 years out of this crazy world is definitely a blessing. So rest in peace, John Madden. And let's just give him his well-deserved moment of silence. Rest in peace to the legend, John Madden. Man. All right, and here we go. Here goes the ignorance again, guys. Why didn't y'all tell me? Give me a second to kill these feeds, man. I tell you, boy. These people are so ignorant that come in here. Thank you, Debbie. She said bot alert. Yeah, it's so stupid. I'm going to have to find a way, if I can identify some of the same wording or language that they use, I should be able to block it with my, my electronic moderator, if you will. But all right, here we go. What do y'all want to talk about first? I guess we would talk about the injury and COVID list. We know who it pretty much consists of injury-wise. Fryermuth, of course, will be evaluated, man, and hopefully he's able to come off of concussion protocol, as well as Dotson. Dotson has practiced. He practiced last week, so the expectation is and the hope is that he'll be ready possibly to play against the Browns. And then guys who were injured in game, Kendrick Green, Trey Turner, in-game injuries. Tomlin didn't elaborate on their injuries, but he basically said they'll have a chance. He basically kept talking about the extra day that they're getting to give guys a chance. So we'll find out as we look at the injury reports, who's in, who's out, things of that nature. But and let me just say this, guys. Let's not wish ill will on people, because I already saw it. I already saw people saying, "I'm glad Kendrick Green is hurt." And no, man, that's not the attitude to have. Regardless of what you feel about this kid, man, that's not the attitude to have, man. You know what I mean? I don't want anybody injured. But, if we're talking about from a football standpoint, it seems as if, and I'll be honest, I haven't watched it intensely. I've been watching Kendrick Green more because he's played more. But it does seem that the times that J.C. Heisenhower has had to fill in, he played better. Remember that one game where he came in and he played a bit, and then Kendrick Green came back in the game? it definitely has seemed as if JC has played better. So maybe this gives us another chance to see, what's up with JC Hassenauer if if Kendrick Green can't go. But again, don't wish ill will on a player, guys. You got to have a heart. Like, we could be fans, but we don't have to be malicious in how we think about humans. You know what I mean? It's just, again, that's just me personally. If you choose to do that, fine, but you're never going to get me to do anything like that. If Trey Turner can't play, then, the offensive line carousel continues to rotate, and I don't know. What do you do? And then, of course, Devin Bush and others, we pretty much know who those guys were. Your Marcus Allens of the world. I forget who else, but it's a couple guys. We knew last week, but I forget all of the names. But those guys who were put on the COVID list, I even saw that Anthony Miller, I think, was on the list as well. So we shall see. Hopefully these guys can get back on the field. Contrary to what some people might believe, I had been saying that Devin Bush's last 3 games were his more positive. So I would rather Devin Bush be on the field as we're approaching the end of the season, because he needs all of those reps. Again, regardless of what you feel about Devin Bush, he needs those reps, because I promise you guys, Devin Bush will not be cut. Devin Bush is going to have the opportunity to be the guy again next year. Just, y'all know how this works. Y'all know how the Steelers organization works. They're not going to sell out and cut a first-round draft pick that's coming off of an injury. They're going to give him every opportunity to play better next year, starting in training camp, then on in the preseason, then on to start the regular season. And then perhaps if he is not playing better, I would assume the Steelers have done something at inside linebacker, whether that be free agency or via draft, then you might see him get pulled. But do not act as if Devin Bush will not be on the roster next year. That's not going to happen unless, for whatever reason, he decides he doesn't want to be there. So there you have it. Couple things, man, that Tomlin talked about in the presser. He did say that he allowed Adrian Clem to speak with Oregon. He said that actually began last week. He said that, Clem was very professional and how he came to Tomlin about it, and he has no quorums. Old word right there, right? But he has no quorums with him, no reservations about him, doing what he had to do. And I guess that is to be applauded. You know what I mean? There was no friction. And I like the fact that Mike Tomlin said, listen, let's kill the narrative of saying that, he left because he wasn't happy or he bailed out on the team. He killed all of that. Now, again, it's up to you guys to believe what you want, but I think it's in good taste to at least come out and say, look, this is how it happened. It's not this, it's not that. You can kill the speculation. Boom, boom. He also went in to say that was the reason why, and I have it notated here, that he allowed him to go ahead and go down. He basically said it was a way for him to prevent any distraction for the team this week. They don't have to answer those questions, right? He's already gone. And also he mentioned that CMO, as he called him, Chris Morgan, which I said yesterday, if you guys saw that video that I posted, which technically it was today because I posted it after 12 midnight. But, he's probably going to be the successor. Tomlin even went to say that his hat's going to be in the running. He's going to have his name in the race as the replacement. He didn't commit to it. But again, like I said, if you know how the Steelers organization works, if you're used to how the Steelers get down, you would pretty much know for sure that this guy is more than likely going to get the job. And here we go. I just caught the idiot again. All right. So, yeah. So, I would expect that. I would definitely expect that Chris Morgan will more than likely be the guy that's going to get the position. Maybe not. We'll see. Tomlin did say they're not opposed to it being an outside hire. We'll see. I'm just saying. And again, Tomlin, again, he said he wanted to make sure the team didn't have any distractions and he'd get the opportunity to evaluate Chris Morgan. And I'll be honest in saying I don't know how much an assistant does throughout the season. I would expect he's right there, kind of like the right-hand man. I don't know if there's anything you changed in the last 2 weeks. I guess what you evaluate is how he handles his group, how they respond to him, I guess. I don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know what there is to glean from 2 weeks of now he's more in an elevated position. I don't know what he can and can't do during the season. So like I told you guys, there's so many things that we like to speculate as fans that I refuse to do it. You know, I refuse to speculate and try to give a real opinion on stuff that I don't know. I just don't operate like that. So there you have it. Now, here was one of the hot topics that Mike Tomlin did say in this press conference, and he also has mentioned this early in the year. We talked about it on this show. He said again, and he even reiterated, listen, I said this earlier. He has input and he's involved in all 3 phases of the game, meaning offense, defense, and special teams. So let me be the first to say, if Tomlin is taking ownership like that, could it be tongue-in-cheek? Sure. Could it be him protecting his staff? Sure. But we have to critique, we have to judge based off of what we see and hear from the coaches. So if he's heavily involved in offense and defense, then yes, Mike Tomlin, you get some of this blame too for the way the team is performing. Yes, you do. No way, there's no 2 ways about that. And I should be able to say that even as someone who likes Mike Tomlin. Where criticism is due, you got to give criticism. It's just that simple. You know, for some reason, people seem to think when I defend Mike Tomlin in certain areas, they seem to take that as me just being a Mike Tomlin homer or something. No. I just have my ways of what I believe I blame for coaches for and what I blame players for. Just that simple. But yeah, if he's saying he's involved in the game planning and all of that stuff, and then yeah, he has to take a piece of this blame for the way this team is performing. Even still, I still think when I watch the film, it's a lot of bad play by our players. It is. So they all got to do a better job, man, as far as I see it, because that brings me to the next thing. What's up with Matt Canada, man? I'm going to stick to my stance about Matt Canada, but I'm going to add a little more to my stance on the negative side. What is the positive side of my stance? I keep saying that Matt Canada, I won't fully judge him until he has another quarterback at his disposal for a full season. Reason why I say that is because obviously if you look at what he's done in his college career, obviously if you look at the way Ben Roethlisberger plays, lack of mobility, and I'm not talking about Ben being a mobile running quarterback. I'm just talking about his mobility. He's not the Big Ben that we used to see years ago. That's fair. He's more of a statue. He's more of a guy now that's either going to eat the sack or hold the ball too long, and you know he can't evade and elude like he used to. It is what it is. He's older, right? So I'm sure there's some things, if you look at Matt Canada's offenses in college, there's some things I'm sure he can't pull off with that type of quarterback. So I will still say the jury for me is out until I see that, until I see a second season, assuming he's with the Steelers. However, comma but, I still believe with a coach or coordinator, whatever you want to call them, I call them coaches because that's what they are. Your job is to get the best out of what you have. And even though we can clearly see that there's certain things that we can't run with Ben Roethlisberger, I still think, Mr. Canada, it is up to you to get the best out of what you have. Utilize your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to do that because that's what the job requires. Everybody doesn't come into a job with a Hall of Fame quarterback or the best running quarterback in the league or the fastest quarterback in the league or the guy with the best arm talent in a Pat Mahomes or, you know, and I'm just using him as an example. Everybody doesn't get that. Most coaches get what they have and they make the best out of what they have. And from us watching the film, I say us because all of us watch the game. And for those of us who understand the game maybe a little more than others, some of these play calls ain't it. excuse me, some of these play calls ain't it. I don't care who your quarterback is. Some of it is just pure schematics. Like running a toss with crack blocks on 4th and 1. Tipping your hand. It's interesting. You know what's so crazy? And I know some of y'all going to go wild in the comments because y'all going to say, oh, we should have never got rid of Ingram, blah, 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 blah. Even though we all know that Ingram wanted out because Ingram literally said he was better than Highsmith. He didn't accept his position as being a rotational player and a veteran helping to groom a guy who's going to be here long term, right? He didn't embrace the 3-man rotation, right? But it was said that Ingram actually said that he kind of knew what play was coming because of the way the receivers were tipping their hand, already looking down the line of scrimmage. So in his mind, he knew, oh, okay, they're going to come back and crack block. So stuff like that. If Melvin Ingram knows that, of course, he's been with the Steelers, but even with that, then come on, Matt Canada. Everybody in the world know you don't run this toss sweep at that particular moment. And what did I say post-game? Especially when the same play, we tried to start the game with that. And Kansas City already stretched it out. So some of these play calls, and again, what I always say about coaches, I get on coaches for play calling, situational moments. Those are the things I look at coaches for. Yes, there's an argument to be made about having guys in the best position to win and this and that and this and that. Yes, it is. And to me, I can clearly distinguish when somebody was in bad alignment or the play call wasn't right versus when I feel like the player didn't do their job. That was a clear moment where I felt like, why Matt Canada? Why? So, like I said, what's up with Matt Canada, man? It's a little rocky right now. And it's interesting, you know. Some people are saying he needs to be fired. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't oppose it. I don't oppose us going with another offensive coordinator because Matt Canada hasn't really done anything to make me feel like, no, let's hold on to him. Like I said, it's kind of an unfair statement because I'm sure we're not seeing his full gamut, you know, the full, like the entire offense, I'm sure. But still, based off of what we're seeing and the results, and some of it I'm sure is O-line related, I get it. But I'm sorry, we can only judge you based off of what we're seeing. Because, and here's the thing I think that kind of hurts Matt Canada in theory. The fact that our offense has the ability to put up 28 points in the fourth quarter and how many times we went on a run. Like, so the thing is, things are clicking. And granted, sometimes it might be the type of defense they're playing. Even like with Najee being able to run a little bit against Kansas City, I'm sure they went into a different style of defense that allows some of those yards. But still, you know, when I look at the trenches, I still look at the one-on-one battles. Because to me, it don't matter what point of the game, those people collide on every play. But even still, man, you got to find a way to get better starts. You know, you cannot have it where the defenses just have your number. And how many defenses have we felt like have had our number in the first half? Come on, Matt Canada. Come on, man. Which brings me to my next point. Because this is part of the problem. You got guys like RayRay McCloud out there blocking. Can anybody answer this question? Why is RayRay McCloud playing more than James Washington? This ain't the first time you guys have heard me say that. This ain't the first time some of you guys have asked that question. I don't get it. And you know what? They said James Washington liked some pictures or whatever on social media. I didn't look because I'm going to be honest with you. I would be frustrated as well if I was James Washington. Let me explain to you why. James Washington has been nothing but less than, nothing close to a diva. He's been nothing short of perfect as far as behavior. Don't say much. Don't throw nobody under the bus. Doesn't seem to complain publicly. He's like the old forgotten about. Remember, this kid was drafted in the second round. Second round draft pick. That usually means you're going to play. Not only that, he makes plays when he gets opportunities. And it's funny because some people will say James Washington don't do much anyway, right? Because they see the moments when he don't get a lot of yards or he has a drop or so, one or two. But here's what y'all are not paying attention to. He ain't getting a lot of targets. But if you really roll the tape, James Washington makes big plays at a high clip. I wish I had the time to kind of chart it. I'm sure Steelers Depot probably has done it because y'all know how crazy Dave Bryan is over there with the stats and all that. Somebody has the numbers. I'm sure his success rate and big play rate is at a high percentage. He makes plays almost every time you see him. I do not understand why when JuJu SmithSchuster went down, we started to see less of James Washington. I do not understand that. No disrespect to RayRay McCloud, but RayRay McCloud is not able to do what we need him to be in this offense. We try to run the football. Who are your best blockers at receiver? Chase Claypool, just because of his physical stature, even though I've seen him get blown up a couple times. And James Washington. Deontay Johnson ain't no great blocker. No disrespect to Deontay, but he's a little guy. RayRay McCloud ain't no great blocker. Again, no disrespect to him, but he's a little guy. So when we in those sets, when we got 2 wide receivers out there, or even 3, James Washington needs to be a part of that if we're running the ball. I don't understand it, man. So I'm asking Matt Canada, and I'm asking Mike Tomlin as well. Because let me explain something to you. People will say that Mike Tomlin doesn't know X's and O's, and I completely disagree with you guys. The reason why I disagree with you is because, listen, none of us know game plans going to the game. None of us do. But when you just listen to him talk and how he explains things and how he talks about other teams and what they do well and what they don't do and how they approach things, it's X's and O's stuff that probably goes over people's heads. So you're not telling me this man doesn't know X's and O's, but because he does know X's and O's, I still, for the life of me, don't understand how Chase Claypool ain't getting more opportunities in the slot. I would have thought when JuJu went down the 3-receiver set, Deontay, James Washington, and slide Claypool inside. Claypool is a matchup nightmare. But the reason why I think he stays outside is because, let's go back to our quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger likes to take shots. He likes to take those shots when he gets single high. So you're going to put the big body on the outside. I get it. But what happens if you just throw different looks out there and slide Claypool with that big body inside? Because the funny thing is James Washington is your deep ball go-getter. He's your 50-50 ball guy, as well as Claypool. Claypool is coming around. Claypool is making more of those combative catches that I like. Cool. But every now and then slide him inside and get James out there. Get James out there who can also make the tough catches. And with Deontay Johnson that's cooking dudes off the line, your number 1 receiver, throw that look out there more. Why we keep throwing RayRay out there? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. And like I said, that's a question for Matt Canada as the coordinator, because I'm sure the coordinator is the main one who goes through personnel. But then, like I said, I'm going to give Mike Tomlin some of that question too, because you said your hands are involved. You're involved. Which brings me to my third question for you guys. Did the JuJu loss have a huge effect on this offense? I said it did. That was my stance. I said that when JuJu went down. You guys remember that, right? But now, after seeing where we are now, seeing those plays like the 4th and 1, Where maybe if JuJu is one of the blockers, it's a different situation. Seeing the play, I forget which game it was now, but it might have been against the Vikings. That 3rd and 1 where Claypool missed the block and the guy blew Najee up in the backfield. JuJu makes those blocks. JuJu was a dog. That was Heinz Ward Jr. That was Heinz Ward Jr. in those situations. JuJu did all of the gritty, the dirty work, the blocking, the tough possessions, possession catches, getting the extra yard, fighting for the first down. That was JuJu. He even got himself hurt doing what he normally does, going low, and the defender just happened to catch him in the right spot. Our offense is severely suffering without JuJu. But again, some of y'all would like to argue, or y'all debated me when I said how important he was to this team because you didn't view him as a number one. Y'all didn't view him as a number one the same way we viewed Antonio Brown as a number one. But that's not even fair to do. Give me a second, guys. Give me 2 seconds, man. It looks like, is everything looking okay, guys? Let me interrupt myself real quick. Does everything look all right? Hold on, let me check. Because it looks like in the software it's telling me, the software is running as if the stream, let me see. It says YouTube is not receiving enough to maintain a smooth stream. Weird. I don't know why. I have a ton of speed, and I am hardwired. But you guys are seeing everything okay? Everything's good, right? Because it's telling me that it's poor. Now we're back in green. Looks okay. All right, now it's green now. So I don't know. Maybe that was a YouTube thing that happened there. So just checking with you guys. Stream is a little laggy. You're chopped. Okay. What about now? Stream was cutting out a few times. I keep getting, okay, you're a little laggy. All right, so let me pause for a moment. What about now? We good now? I said we back in the green now. All right, so let's wait a second. Somebody said YouTube had a glitch. Everything's good now. Yeah, it was crazy for a second, right? All right, I check on y'all. I'm looking over here and I saw that red sign. I was like, whoa. All right, we good. Yeah, but JuJu, I don't want to spend too much time with that. JuJu is significant to this team, man. And yeah, I don't understand why some people were saying that he wasn't. But like I said, we all see the game differently. The last thing I will say before I get to the phone calls. Let me say this. I am not opposed to any changes to this team. Y'all know I support Mike Tomlin. I'm a Mike Tomlin fan. I would like for Mike Tomlin to continue to be the coach. That's just me. We don't have to agree. But I'm not opposed to any type of changes. If the organization felt like it was time to move on, I would move on. But I want to give you guys some reality. Mike Tomlin will be back more than likely, guys. Regardless of how this season ends, there's two main factors. One, if we don't win out, let's say we don't win either one of these games, and he has his first losing season, that means something. First. Might not mean much to you guys because I know everyone's going to say, well, what about his playoff record? Well, what about his when's the last time we did this? I get it. I get it from a fan standpoint, but from an organization standpoint, he's been very successful. I'm sure he's made the Steelers organization lots of money because the Steelers continue to be an interesting topic, always in the hunt, right? That keeps the ship moving. The ship keeps on floating smoothly down the stream when your organization is a stable, winning organization. So the fact that it would be his first, that means a lot to the organization. They're not firing the man. And that leads me to the second point. He has 3 years left on his contract. We know the Steelers are known for not firing head coaches. So, conventional wisdom would tell you that he's going to be your coach for at least the next 3 years. So, now Keith Butler might not be back because if I'm not mistaken, I have to confirm it, but I'm almost certain that this is the last year on his contract. So he might not be back. So, I'm open to real changes, wholesale changes, philosophy changes. I'm really open to that because it's something that I want to show you guys, man. And my bad. I didn't even add the image to the stream, but I'm going to do it right now. And then we're going to get to the phone calls. I want to show y'all something. Check this out. Let me pull it up here. Because me and Kenyon, we talked about this. I texted him last night after I watched the game again. And this really ticked me off. Y'all see this? Now, I want you guys to see my face as well as I'm showing you this. So hold on, give me a second. Well, y'all don't need to see my face. Let me show y'all this first, and then I'll come back to me. First of all, I want you guys to confirm that you can see it before we go any further. Confirm that you're seeing this image here. What you're seeing is a screenshot, TV view of the game. If you guys can just give me a confirmation that you can see it. I know you can, but again, I like to be thorough, man, just to make sure you guys are seeing it. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Me and Kenyon discussed this, and I definitely agree with Kenyon. We don't necessarily have the greatest personnel to be able to be like a man team. We don't. We definitely don't. Right? So I'm not going to debate that. And hold on, something just happened. What was that, a donation? I don't think it was. I think it was just a subscriber. So if it was just a subscriber, thank you. I can't see it while I have this image on the screen. But anyway, we don't really have the horses. I get it. However, I see other teams just try stuff from time to time. It's either going to work or it's not. But let me tell y'all what I'm talking about. You guys can see this, right? It says 2nd and 6. First drive of the game. 3 runs, 3 passes, 39 yards. At this point, it's about a 4-minute drive. I want you to see what's up here at the top. That is Tyreek Hill. He's not split out wide. It's more of a compressed set. But Tyreek Hill is standing on the, 34-yard line. Do y'all see what Joe Hayden is? Joe Hayden is standing on the 28. Look at all that cushion. Look at all of those yards. Now, here's the thing. Like me and Kenyon were discussing, you can't really just man up a guy like Tyreek Hill when you don't got real man corners because he's going to blow past you. I get it. Right? But you have to be able to mix and match. To me, you have to throw a variation out there. All right? So now let me move this because I want you guys to see me as well because I want to look right at y'all. You got to be able to mix and match, baby. Think about all the times in Kansas City, they would just play man with anybody. Right? Sometimes you just have to roll the dice in a sense. What the Pittsburgh Steelers don't really do is sometimes we have in some games, but what we do is we don't really throw a lot of variations of our coverage. This ended up being cover 3 because I want you guys to understand this. At the snap of the ball, Joe Hayden bails. You're talking about giving somebody cushion. He bails. He's already 8 yards off of, not off the ball per se, but he's 8 yards away from Tyreek Hill. And at the snap of the ball, he turns and bails. And Tyreek Hill just runs a very simple, quick out, looks at Mahomes, boop, first down. And my point is, all I just really need to see us do sometimes, shorten that distance. Look where he's at. Even if Joe Hayden gets on the 30, it's better because then it gives the illusion to Mahomes or whoever the quarterback is like, oh, I don't know what coverage this could be. Might be man, maybe not. But when you off like that, fam, that's off coverage. That's either going to be off man or it's going to be you're using an off technique in cover 3, which we do often. We kind of run our cover 3 and cover 1 the same because we primarily bail anyway. And a lot of times when we run cover 1, we always bailing and trying to funnel them inside to Minka, which, yeah. But my point is, you have to mix and match. You cannot, and we routinely do this when we play zone sometimes. We just straight up back off. And I get it. Tyreek Hill is fast. I get it. But do you got to give him that much cushion? You got Minka back there to help over the top. Y'all understand what I'm saying? It's very frustrating, guys. And we, like my man Knight Rider just said, we don't really do no match coverages, bro. The only time we match is I have seen us run some cover 4 and we've matched patterns a little bit, but we're not a pattern matching defense. You know, Nick Saban teaches that a lot. And, you know, some defensive teams, they run pattern matches out of any coverage. Again, defensive coordinators get creative. Cover 2 is not ran the same way by every team. You understand what I'm saying? So, oh man. Yeah, I just frustrating, man. Frustrating. But like I said, that's why I'm not opposed to some wholesale changes with the team, man, because stuff like that, I can't continue to routinely see that. I cannot continue to routinely see stuff like that, and it's so easy for guys to just pitch and catch. But all right, man, let's get to the phone calls, man. I didn't mean to go so long, but we have a host of phone calls in here, guys. Y'all know the routine. Quick in out. In and out. In and out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So y'all know we got to fly. We got to fly. The first one in the queue was Mr. Winningham, and I had forgot to cut the music back on. That's the second time I've done that with a moment of silence. All right, Mr. Winningham is the first up. Area code 803. What you got for us?
Good evening. Good evening. You know, changes is something that's inevitable. With this team here, you know, I felt to start the year because of the salary cap, this team was badly constructed, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I've never seen a team or a Pittsburgh Steelers team that has depended on a draft class so much like we have done this. In normal years, these guys would get spare time, but they would not get the major playing time that you see most of this draft class has gotten. And then on the defensive side, we've had a lot of injuries. When 2/3 of your front is hurt and out for the year for whatever reasons, it has totally affected this defense. But at the same time, the talent level is not there. I didn't see a lot of effort Sunday. It was so disheartening to see. Once Deontay Johnson fumbled that ball, it looked like he mentally checked out. I saw guys taking bad angles, terrible tackling, and change is needed. I don't think we'll get rid of Mike Tomlin, but what do you think? I want to ask you this question. What do you think the future of Kevin Colbert? Thank you so much, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, Mr. Winningham. And you bring up a great point, man, about, wow, yeah. We don't usually see the Steelers have to depend on so many draft picks. I mean, we have 4 rookies. Not even had. We have 4 offensive rookies, and they all play. That's bad. That means your depth really ain't where it needs to be. As far as Mike Tomlin, like I said, Mike Tomlin is going to be there. I did see somebody, Steelers Freak, said, what if he's calling the defense? Listen, man, I said it in a few weeks before. If Mike Tomlin is really calling the defense, remember when the rumor came out that Aditi Kinkembwala reported supposedly that Keith Butler has never called the defense? I don't believe that. But let's say it is Mike Tomlin, then the finger's pointed at Mike Tomlin. That's kind of what me and Kenyon was talking about, via text, that's that philosophy. That's that Tampa 2, that style, and he comes from that. However, the screenshot I just showed was cover 3. You know what I'm saying? But listen, everybody is accountable. So if it turned out Mike Tomlin is calling the defense, then my finger is pointed at Mike Tomlin, even as a supporter. I am not opposed to any changes that's for the betterment of the team. Next up, we got area code 505. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So when you were talking about that coverage on Hill, you actually stole the words right out of my mouth. Remember that play against Brady when the Patriots played us in Pittsburgh and Joe Hayden got that pick for us?
Mm-hmm.
On that play, it was a cover 3. It was a cover 2 that was actually disguised as a cover 3, and we were able to fool Brady by having them think that the seams would be open, but they weren't open. He freaked out. The pressure got there, and he threw an interception to us. I'm just so tired of these vanilla schemes and game plans. And on offense, I don't know why we don't go no huddle more, because when Ben has all the control, for some reason we move the ball much better. We score. Well, you know what? Granted, we are down when he goes no huddle, but I don't know why we don't do it more. And with these hitters with the coaches and stuff, like with Tomlin, I could tell these people have not played football before, because it's about what the players do on the field. And unfortunately, the players are making the coach look bad, especially retard Cloud celebrating a first down when you're down by 30-plus points.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, Tim. I hope that I didn't take too long. I just wanted to express all those points there. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Good stuff. No, you didn't take too long. That was good. And I want to go back real quick, too, and comment on what Mr. Winningham said about Kevin Colbert, so I don't want to forget that. But, yeah, 505, what you just said, too, disguise, and I get it. It's easy for me and all of us to say as fans, why don't you do that more? Defense don't work every play. Sometimes the offense calls the right offensive play against you. It happens. But I guess my point is, guys, I don't expect everything to work. My bigger point is, when the Steelers are in their vanilla defense, we are vanilla. And I think you guys understand that. We at home, like, oh, here we go. Like, we just, sometimes we pull hats, rabbits out the hat. Like, in one of those games when we had, we did an invert situation where we had Cam Sutton on the line and he runs back and he becomes the deep safety. Like, stuff like that, we get creative here and there. But we just stay so vanilla for too long, man. And it's too many of those situations. Mr. Winningham, Kevin Colbert is year to year. So I can't never gauge what he's going to do. We'll see, and like I said, I'm not opposed to any changes, that's going to make the team better. All of these guys have been there for an extremely long time. I'm a little more lenient with the head coach because we know the Steelers' background when it comes to head coaches. You know, so it's less likely for the head coach to change at this moment. Not going to be next season. So, you know, maybe I'll get more into that talk when we really think the time might come. You understand what I'm saying? Because we thought the time might have been near, and then they extended him. So, obviously, the Steelers are not thinking that way. Round of applause to Knight Rider. Thank you for the donation, man. Round of applause. He says, we went all in one too many years trying to keep that window open, and that put us behind on drafting the players we needed, offensive line, and that should be developed by now. Yeah, that's a great point, you know, and sometimes, you know, teams are faced with that. You know, you got this Hall of Fame quarterback in your eyes, and yes, he is a Hall of Fame quarterback, and maybe they believed in Ben too much. That's not a slight to Ben, but maybe they just believed a little too long that the window was open. Me personally, I think the window closed when the Killer Bees dismantled, because that was the moment. That type of offense. I mean, we were the Chiefs. If you think about it, we had somebody that could hit you at like, come on, man. AB, Big Ben, Le'Veon, Martavis Bryant. I mean, we had a guy that could stretch the. I mean, we had it all, and the defense just never caught up. So, yeah, there you have it. Next up, man, we have area code 214. What you got for us?
All right, Sam. This is Brent Fox again from Dallas, Texas, brother.
Yes, sir.
Just a couple of things to go over. Hey, Happy New Year to everybody early. My first thing was, now that we are having to make changes, which position group do we actually draft, and which position group do we actually utilize with free agency? I also, you know, along with what you said earlier, have questions about the underutilization of James Washington. And finally, I have a message for the ABT and the ATC community. ABT is anybody but Tomlin. ATC is anti-Tomlin community. Look, there is going to come a point in time where Tomlin is not going to be around for you to blame.
Yeah.
Then what? All right. Well, thank you for your time, Sim. As always, it's a blessing to be on here. And thank you again for giving us a voice.
Man, thank you for calling, man, and Happy New Year to you as well. Really appreciate that. Great call, man. He got right to the point. Didn't take a lot of time, so I'm going to do the same and not take a lot of time because we got a bunch of calls in the queue. Thank you, 214. Next up, area code 973. What you got for us?
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, wow. I just think that, this is my personal opinion, I think it's just time for the Steelers just to clean house with just about everybody. Kept starting up top because I really believe they did. I mean, Big Ben is not the agile quarterback, but if you know you was bringing this man back at 39 years old with that offensive line, like, come on, like, you know what I mean? If you're going to bring him back, you put all the eggs in one basket and let's try to get number 7. They failed to do that. And I think of Kevin Colbert. I think about he the one signed Mike Mitchell. You know, I mean, like, I just could go on with him, man. And sometimes, much as I like Mike Tomlin, but sometimes, Tim, maybe you could address it too, players get tired of hearing that same, you know, that voice. He's been there he's been there maybe 15 years.
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe
true.
You know, it might be just that time, you know, because he getting a lot of bad things, especially from Shannon Sharp, saying like with the diva receivers situation, like he let things go because he's more of like a player's coach, you know, buddy type. But yeah, I just think, you know, and Keith Butler and what's my guy, Matt Kennedy might well coach somebody high school football team because the plays he does, I just don't understand. And then my last thing, Tim, think about it, Mike Tomlin. I know you like Mike Tomlin. We down 30-0. He kicks a field goal. Come on, Sim. Oh, my goodness. Can you explain that to me? You have a good night, brother. And Happy New Year to the family.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for the call. And I will address that right there as far as Tomlin. Like I told y'all, man, some of the things I don't agree with Tomlin is time management and challenges, and time management too also goes with what you just said. You know, deciding to kick field goals at certain time. I don't know. Just like remember the game against Cleveland, the first one when he did the fake field goal. I just didn't agree with that. But to answer your bigger point, and just to put it all out there, most of you guys are in here tonight listening now. Listen, like I said, I agree with what 973 says. Sometimes maybe the change needs to be made, like the same message, same approach, same voice. You never know. The only thing that you could kind of challenge that with is it's not the same players. So some of these younger players, it's a new voice to them. But again, I'm not opposed to any changes, guys. Let's just put that on the record. Yes, Sim said it. I am not opposed to any changes, even if that means a new head coach, because I'm about the team. And the man has been with us 15 years. I appreciate what he's done thus far. He's always going to be one of my favorite coaches because I think he's a good coach, a great coach even. But, you know, sometimes you plateau. Everybody ain't Bill Belichick that's been there forever and just had continued to I mean, you know what I'm saying? But Tomlin has been very successful, but sometimes it's time, you know, I'm not saying I'm throwing him out the door. I'm just saying if it happened, okay, let's move on and let's see what this next guy does. But I would say this, it could be a lot worse with a new person. We could end up in a a carousel of just bad. You never know what's going to happen next. So, but like I said, don't expect that this season, guys. Again, maybe we had that conversation 3 years from now because I just don't see him being fired. Next up, area code 216. What you got for us?
Hey, Sim, it's Destiny.
Hey, Destiny, what's going
Hope
on?
everyone's having a good night.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, not much. Thank you for your kind words earlier. I appreciate you. Been a challenging last few months, but God is good.
That's what's up.
I wanted to call
I'm
in
glad
tonight.
you're
So it's
good.
the perfect night. Yeah, thank you. One with John Madden passing, it just makes you feel nostalgic and remember why you fell in love with football.
Yeah.
And I felt like the Steelers really embody everything he talked about when I grew up watching them and really falling in love with the way they played, discipline, heart, good schemes. We're attacking teams. We're intimidating teams. I feel like between Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin, one of my biggest issues this year is if they base their entire draft off of Kendrick Green. Our O-line was such a huge problem. You took a college kid who's played guard most of his college career, and you asked him to start playing center after a Hall of Famer left. You asked him to fill those shoes. He could have sat on the bench, like you said. I would have taken B.J. Finney or J.C. Hassenhauer as servable centers just for this last push over a struggling rookie who then affects the right guard, the left guard, and then we're breaking down across the line after that. You talk about Matt Canada, the schemes. I'm watching RayRay backpedal forward somehow because he goes out to block on that pitch and he gets taken over immediately. The dude's the size of a little action figure out there. He's not JuJu. So why are you scheming up plays like he is on defense? It's some of the same things. Why are we using our players? What are the game plans? And I'm just gonna end it like this because I know you play football. A lot of people have played football that are in the chat or just know football and love football and can talk about it. That's what that's where Miss Debbie comes. That's where everybody comes to who's gonna Kenyon. When I watch them, one of my biggest issues with the coaching staff too, as someone who plays, is it looks like the players all breaks down on each other. And that's coaching. Whatever's happening at practice, that's not brotherhood.
Yeah.
That's not discipline. I've been on the field, and my team is so dysfunctional starting with the head coach because there's no authority. There's no one keeping everybody in line, not just depending on your captains and your players, too. It don't always work like that. You don't always respect the person next to you authority. You need your coach to come in and make an example of somebody, not just benching them for a game, not just saying, I'll find you. You got to make something happen. Your actions have to back up your words, and I think Mike's starting to give us a lot of empty calories. But that's all I have to say. Much peace, happy holidays, and I appreciate you again. I appreciate Steelers family. Thank you.
Man, Destiny, thank you for the call. You know what? We're going to give Miss Destiny a round of applause for 2 reasons. 2 reasons. Round of applause to Destiny. First of all, we're going to give Destiny a round of applause as one of the lady listeners, and she called in. You know, she's been on the show, but she called in. So it's always good to hear you ladies' voices. We read your comments all the time, but it's even more special when we hear your voices. But the second reason, Destiny, why I'm going to sing your praises, thank you. Substance, people. Destiny gave us a reason why she's looking at coaching. She didn't just say, I hate Mike Tomlin, he's the best coach. No. She gave us substance. This is what I always say. It's fine if you don't like him or don't like certain things about him or a certain thing that he did, but I want to hear you say why. Most people can't do that. Destiny is absolutely right. Whether you agree or disagree, I would have to say that's a coaching thing too. Somebody got to keep him in check. And I know it's hard to say you can control other people's personalities, but you're the head man. So yeah, it falls on you. I do not disagree with that. Not at all. Thank you, Destiny, for that call, man. Next up, area code 859. What you got for us?
What's up, Sim? It's your boy, Carmichael, the sports guru. And I just wanted to say, what ain't the issue? I mean, of course, we got, this offense that can't move the ball. So the OC, you could try to scheme up a play or two, but if players is fumbling, people missing open wide out, it's nothing you can really do to get the ball moving. But Tomlin, he in the situation where he got to ride with Ben for another year until Ben decide to ride off in the sunset. We've been kicking this can down the street for a few years now, and now we in a rebuild mode where most of our players is young, and now we in a situation where we might not make the playoffs. But at the same time, you can't put this at Tomlin's feet because Tomlin is only a leader of men. These men got to be motivated themselves. You can't be self-motivated than what you're doing on the field. It's that simple. Tomlin a grown man, but he ain't out here babysitting kids. So that's all I wanted to say, Sim. Thanks for having me, and good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, man. Appreciate that call because you make another good point. Listen, if sometimes it seems like, guys, we're agreeing with points on both sides, it's because we are, all of us. Both things can be true. Y'all hear me say all the time how much y'all know my metrics of what I blame coaches for, what I blame players for. So both what he said, 859, and what Miss Destiny said is true. Both are. Because at the end of the day, like the tackling thing, people try to say, that's coaching. Come on, man. If an NFL coach got to teach you how to tackle weekly, you don't deserve to be in the NFL. These are grown men acting like little boys in some cases. Some of these dudes are in their early 20s, but you still a professional and you're a grown man. Can't put everything on coaching. But that's why I say it's a combination of it all. You know what I'm saying? So, great call, man. That was a great 2 calls back to back there. Let's get to the next one. Guys, I might have to stop replying because we still have like 8 calls, maybe 9 more. We got to keep it moving. 480, what you got for us?
Hey, Sim, thanks for taking my call. My call is going to be a little bit different. Basically, I'm going to rant a little bit. I've been wanting to say this for a few weeks now, trying to call in. Why is RayRay catching balls on 3rd down? We have Deontay. We have, who else? We got Claypool. We got James Washington. We got Pat, Najee. I've been seeing RayRay get targeted when I don't feel like he should be. I know it's like he's in the NFL and whatnot, but I just don't get it. I don't know. That's my call.
Man, 480. Thank you for that call, and I'm right there with you. I have to look at our head man Mike Tomlin and Matt Canada. Honestly, and no disrespect, Ray, if somehow this gets back to you, and honestly, I hope it does. I hope the day comes where even the players hear my show, hear my opinion. Then you know you made it, right? I don't know why Ray even out there, man. I'm just going to be 100% honest. Ray has made a couple tough catches for us this season, but I'm being 100% honest. Like I said earlier in the show, for those of you that may have missed it, why is he on the field more than James Washington? I have no idea. James Washington, I'm sure, is counting down the days, because I think we have done James Washington a disservice. None of us will know why. Who knows? But 480, I'm right there with you, man. I don't know why RayRay McCloud is in the mix offensively. He hasn't done enough. I don't get it. I don't. 937. This is one of the 937 crew. What you got for us?
Which one is this? Which one is this, Sam?
I'm trying to remember the name. Johnny, right? Is it Johnny?
Oh, shoot. So I guess, it's a bunch of us, man. So I'm just trying to make sure it's me and not trying to cross, What's up, my brother?
What's good, man? What's going on?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm
What's
here.
up, SteelersNation? Look, I'm going to keep it short, man. There's a lot of people tonight, man. All right. Let's talk about Clem being fired, or let's say opted, and, from my understanding, him and Tomlin agreed to the departure. You feel me? So I'm with that, man, because at this point, what we got to lose? I heard DK say today, I don't know if you keep up with DK or whatever, but DK said today, well, none of the offensive line really improved. Your job as a coach is to improve your players. You can improve your players. Now, don't get me wrong, it's on the players too, but, there's a balance there, all right?
Yeah.
Now, what I want to say about that, I'm going to tie that in with the topic, with Ben. What I need Ben to do, as much as, trust me, I love Ben, brother. I love what he's done for us. You're at the end. Ben is at the end. Let's go ahead and rhyme with it. And that's all right. Everybody has the end. What I need Ben to do is take that same attitude and walk off gracefully. Because this is what I know about the Steelers organization, our organization. Say Ben say he want to come back another year for something ridiculous like $8 million a year or something. The Steelers might see that because it's Ben, because he's done for us. But at some point, you got to take it on your shoulders and say, look, man, I know I'm done. I need to just walk out gracefully. You feel me? That's how I feel about that. I need him to see how I tie that together. I need him to have that same type of respect. Go ahead and walk out gracefully, brother. We know whatever. We're going to praise you. You get him the jacket and everything. It's going to be glorious. But I need you to walk out gracefully. Secondly, I want to say, Presley Harvey died. You mentioned that last week. I want to say thank you for that. And it makes sense because the prior week he had a sucky game. Well, if my daddy was dying, I think I would too. And these are human beings. And I don't care how strong you are, it's hard to keep focused when you're dealing with something like that. And I want to piggyback on that man, and say, I'm sorry you lost your mom. I lost my mom a few years ago. I really do understand, and I'm sorry. I just heard that last week. And if you don't mind, give her a round of applause for me after this talk, because I know she was a great woman, because look at you. My brother. I lost my mama too, man, and I know how it feels. Besides that, not trying to bring no sadness on, man, but I think you're making it proud. Yeah, this should be Ben's final game. And, man, I agree with you, man. I don't understand why RayRay is in there, man. Over James Washington. I just simply don't get it, man. But we don't know everything. We're not in the locker rooms. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'll close it up with that tonight, my brother. And peace and love.
Man, peace and love, man. Woo. You came in there with some of that emotion at the end. So you know what? You said it. Let's give my mom Dukes a round of applause, man. And like 937 said, man, it's a pain. Like, oh man, you guys have no idea. And I just only pray that none of you guys have to go through it in your earlier years. I hope you I don't think it matters. I don't, because I remember my grandma passed, which is crazy, also last year. She was going to be 96. And I saw how hurt my mom was, so I don't even think age matters. It's your mom. So, yeah, that was real tough for me, man, losing that incomplete lineage. Grandma and then my mom later in the year due to COVID. So, yeah. But round of applause to Mom Dukes, man. It still hurts me every day, y'all. I'm not even going to try to hide it. But got to keep moving on. One thing I wanted to answer really quick, man, then I'll get to the other calls, that I didn't answer it earlier. I forgot which one of you all asked about the draft. I think it's got to be, it's so many positions. But we definitely got to do something with the offensive line. I think your question specifically was, which one do we approach in the draft? Honestly, I don't know yet if I can answer that, because I don't really know who the free agents are. I haven't looked them up. I'm sure I'll be doing that soon. I'm sure that's something we'll be talking about after the season, leading up to free agency. So it's hard for me to say what we address via draft versus free agency, but offensive line got to be in the cards early, man, because yeah, it should be obvious. Some of these guys, Trey Turners of the world probably won't even be back. Who knows? DeCastro was hurt, which is why we had to release him. Does DeCastro come back? Who knows? He might retire. I mean, it's so many things. Yeah. Yeah. Offensive line has to be high priority. Next up, area code 304. What you got for us?
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, my thing about, the whole Tomlin slander was, people want to bring up and, they try to compare him to, Bill Cowher and, Chuck Noll, but, they don't really, think about how before Ben got there, Bill Cowher was, he had 4 AFC championship appearances, but only came out with 1 Super Bowl, and he also had losing seasons. And Chuck Noll also went 1-16 at one point with the Steelers.
Yeah.
And Chuck Noll also went 1-16 with the Steelers at one point. So it's I don't think it's fair to judge Tomlin off of his playoff record and stuff like that. And another thing I had too with the Steelers over the years is that kind of this old Steeler way of thinking has kind of caught up with them, because they aren't really willing to adjust to the new era of football. Because you see all these other teams go out and get mobile quarterbacks. And they also starting to use a two-back running back system, which we don't do that either. We only use 1 running back. And I feel like that's kind of makes us it hurts us in a way, because our offense is predictable. And one last thing too about the line and the whole rebuilding process. It's people are saying that, the line sucks because they're young, but it's not the fact that they're young. They don't have the talent to get stuff done. They're just not talented. And the issue that's that, and then the issue with the D line is just they don't have enough depth. I think that's really just the main issue. Once they get those fixed, they should be a contender.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's all I have.
Man, 304, thank you for the call. You made some great points there, one of which I definitely want to respond to, because it's an excellent point. And this is some of the stuff maybe we'll talk about in the offseason to keep the show going. Philosophy. That's another thing. Again, I like Mike Tomlin a lot. I do. I still want him as my coach. But that is one philosophy that has caught up. He likes bell cows. We saw it with most of our backs in his tenure. The more recent, Le'Veon Bell, James Conner, now Najee Harris. And that is a fact, 304, that we cannot deny. You might need to change that a little bit. Look at what Dallas is doing all of a sudden this season. Tony Pollard shining out there. You know, it has helped Zeke have some decent moments with the two-back approach. Chubb and Hunt. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Aaron Jones and Dillon. We don't have that. I mean, we got these quote-unquote stable of backs, but you don't see them, rarely see them. Sometimes you got to have a change of pace, man. So that's a philosophy that we got to get away from, just having the bell cow and not adopting what other people are doing. I fully agree with you with that. And like you said, man, look, I definitely believe that some people unfairly criticize Tomlin in this regard. It's okay to not like a coach, but the outright hate is weird to me, because like what you just said, you can look at all three of our coaches and you can find some of the same faults and the different eras. I mean, it's so many different factors, but you know, it is what it is. Hate them or love them. Next up, area code 864. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. What you got for us?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I'm gonna be very quick with this, man. From what I see, man, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm talking defense, because that's been our trademark, our defense. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers is the 32nd defense in the NFL. They hadn't had a defense this bad since 1986. That was during the Chuck Noll era, I'm thinking. And what I'm coming down with, man, it's the mentality of players that they are getting and putting in their system. And you know, these Marlett, Norwood, you know, Edmonds, Bush, these are finesse football players. These football players is not physical. And Ryan Clark, he been harping on it, and even Ike Taylor today. You know, Pittsburgh has gotten away from the blue collar type defenses back that was physical. They come and hit you in your mouth. They come up on the line of scrimmage and they pound you on the line of scrimmage. These type of players, the Marlets, the Norwoods, the Edmonds, the Bushes, these players they don't play like that. They are more finesse football players. So Pittsburgh, in my opinion, and Ike Taylor said it today, the Rooney's need to clean house.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know, Mike Tomlin, like I say, I don't know if it had anything to do with him playing wide receiver in college. I don't know. But he lacks those players. He lacks the Marlets and the Norwoods, these finesse players. And it proved by Carl Joseph. He had Carl Joseph on his roster, and this kid couldn't even get a helmet on Sunday. But Marlett, Norwood, you know, they're going to be out there. And I watched this number 21 Sunday. He just stood around, and Ellis Gazar on his show, he said, look at these guys that's standing around the pile, and they not even attacking the pile. You know, not coming up and trying to be physical and help out with the tackle. And when they tackled the guy, he was getting another 2 or 3 more yards because the Pittsburgh defenders, the ones that had him, and the rest of them were just standing around looking, man. And it's just bad, man. These are not the type of Pittsburgh Steelers type football players. I don't know who's doing the assessment as far as the players that they're getting in now. But these players,
2-minute warning.
Are not physical football players. I don't know if these kind of players that Tomlin lacks. I don't know, but that's the problem, man. The physicality. How can you imagine when George Porter was playing? Could you imagine a team standing on your 50-yard line logo, standing there, and nobody go and address that? I mean, you had these guys, Chelsea. They were standing on the Pittsburgh Steelers 50-yard line, and they had nobody to step up and address that. They don't have no physicality. They don't have that killer instinct. And this team going to continue to go down until they start getting those type of players back in the system. That's all I had to say, bro. Have a good one. Peace.
Thank you for the call, 864. I agree with some of the players you mentioned. I'm not calling I'm not calling Norwood out at the moment. Nor am I calling Devin Bush out at the moment. I'm not going to have recency bias and judge Devin Bush off of what we've seen this season coming off of his injury. We won't saying this about Devin Bush's rookie season. I don't think any of us was saying that. Devin Bush was physical. Devin Bush showed a lot of pop. Devin Bush was sideline to sideline until he got hurt. So I can't throw him in that category. I actually can't even say that Edmonds isn't physical. Edmonds doesn't show me to be a soft player, but I do get your sentiment, right? We ain't got right now we don't have Vince Williams on the team. So I get where you're going, but I'm not ready to say that all the way. But I understand where you're going with it. Man, I'm just looking at some of the chat. Like I said, I will not argue with any of you guys. But wow. I mean, I saw somebody saying something about, y'all really hate Mike Tomlin, man. Who was it? Mark Malone says Tomlin. He said Tomlin is in the bottom 5 coaches of all time. Okay. Who was this? My man Lagoon Tour says we soft. Listen, man, this is what y'all see. It's quite a few players on our team that is not soft. So that's why, as a whole, and let me say this too about Ike Taylor. Listen, these are ex-players, man, but y'all. Ike Taylor said something about how much man coverage they play. When? In the Dick LeBeau era? When was that? When? And again, I love Ike Taylor, but I'm just saying, man, I think sometimes as fans, guys, y'all listen too much to what you hear. Is it cool to listen to ex-players? Sure. But it's just like if you was listening to your homeboy, right? There's truth in stuff that people say, and there's exaggeration to what people say. So sometimes you just got to know what to take, what to pull from it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's exaggerating. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't just listen to what somebody else says as the gospel. Same way y'all shouldn't do that with me. I have my own eye test, right? And some of that other stuff that I don't know, because I'm not in the office, I'm not in the organization, I'm not in the locker room, I can't speculate on that. That's just me. Next up, 937, what you got for us?
Hey, Sam.
Hello.
This is Baby Steeler.
What's going on?
I just want to say, hey, how are you?
Doing good.
That's good. Okay, I just want to say, the only thing I really want to say is that I feel like with Mason Rudolph, he came out in, like, I believe the fourth quarter, and he did good. I mean, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but I felt like they could at least let him come out third quarter. Like, why not? Like, what do you have to lose? I mean, nothing against Ben, but I do feel like, heck, you might as well try him a lot earlier to see what can happen, because he did make something happen. Because it's kind of like, you know, if you play your favorite song and you're playing it over and over on repeat, like you're constantly playing it over and over on repeat, and you don't want to change it until you get tired of listen to the song. So it's kind of like with the Steelers. It's like the repeat over and over and over. And it's like until you hit that button to change it, then you'll keep getting the same thing until you change it. That's just my opinion. And that's all I want to say. And Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, Baby Steeler. If I remember correctly, that is Angela, you all. She called last week. So round of applause to the ladies calling, man. Her and Destiny called tonight. We really, 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 really appreciate it. And Baby Steeler, I am going to actually comment to what you said about Mason Rudolph. Look, man, I got two things to say. I agree. I said it on the post-game show. Mason Rudolph probably should have came out a series before he did. Just my opinion. The game was over. The second thing I'm going to say, and I want you all to hear this and hear it clear. You guys are looking at your starting quarterback for 2022. You are. So, baby Steeler, you're gonna get you a good look at Mason Rudolph, because that is your starting quarterback. I'm predicting it. Now, of course, if the Steelers mess around and do something in free agency, cool. If they draft somebody, cool. But right now, as I sit here today, Mason Rudolph will be the Pittsburgh Steelers of 2022's starting quarterback. Book it. Next up, area code 843. Listen, guys, man, we got to burn through these. We got 5 more calls. We have to burn through these. 434 will be the last one. Let's get through them, man, so we can wrap the show up. Area code 843, what you got for us? (843) hung up. Don't want to talk to us. And so did 434. What happened? So now we only got 3 calls left. All right, first up, 334. What you got for us?
What's up, man? How you been doing? Been a long time.
Good. What's going on?
Been a long time. Man, I'm sitting here and being entertained with your callers, man. You was hitting them 7 in a row. And I was saying to myself, they thinking like I'm thinking, you know. And I just want to touch on Tomlin a little bit. I was kind of like sitting back. I say, when weeks went by, I was just thinking about why would these college teams was interested in going after Tomlin, who's been in the league for quite a while, been in the playoffs, been in the Super Bowl. It dawned on me later on. I said, they was hitting at something. And what they was hitting at wasn't no racist thing. It is because Tomlin is a player's coach. He's not a coach that wants physicality out of players on the field. He's not a Belichick or someone like that. He just like finesse type of player. And they said to themselves, he would fit good in college. I don't think Tomlin can get Pittsburgh back to the Super Bowl because he's a finesse coach. I've been stressing this for a while. I kept my mouth closed for years. I say, whoever felt that this guy, of course, he's been a black coach coming in, let's give him a try. But after him being there a couple of years and I'm watching with the old players, how he getting along with the old players, and I noticed they don't see eye to eye. We come from an older school, you bring in a new school, but what is the new school probably bringing in? The only thing he's bringing in, I want to be your friend and buddy. Go out there and do stupid things and get bad calls, and they just only blame it on you because I'm the coach. I don't tell you to go out there and do these things, but you do them on your own. Wait a minute, there's a limitation here. You think they will pull that crap over there in New England?
2-minute warning.
Get away with that. Did you watch the Patriots play Buffalo and how Belichick was looking like the Grinch when things weren't going right? I can imagine when Monday comes what he gonna be doing to them. I can imagine what they go through. Man, when you play for Belichick, man, you feel like you ain't gonna have your job back at the end of the practice. That's the type of mentality that comes back in Pittsburgh. All this finesse players, you had 500 receivers come through Pittsburgh. Well, wait, they're not even there. It's because the coaching is sugar-coated. It's not grass popping out of the ground, helmets popping loose. You don't see that no more. We see finesse. You're a finesse team. All right. Let's see how finesse going to get
Time's
you
up.
where you want to be. I give this guy
All right, man. I had to move on. I told y'all, man. Don't make me have to mute you guys. You take too long sometimes, guys. I told you we had 3 calls left. We got to get through it. But let me respond to what you said, 334, really quick. Like I said, I try not to disagree. Well, I could disagree, but I don't discourage anyone's opinion. So I want everyone to keep their opinion the same way I keep mine. So I'm not downing the opinion or anything like that. But my only question I have for you, 334, and anybody else who feels this way, where's the proof? I just don't deal with speculation. There's no proof that any of us have that Mike Tomlin is a finesse coach and he doesn't teach physicality. There's no proof. For the last 10, 15 years, we've heard how physical training camp is. Ben Roethlisberger has said, maybe we shouldn't be as physical. Mike Tomlin pretty much continued, if not created, I don't know for sure, but backs on backers is always one of the main things that we emphasize. Look at the players that we have had and drafted since Mike Tomlin's tenure. How many of them can you say were physical? Some of your favorite players right now on the team. Cam Hayward physical? TJ Watt? I'm just saying. David DeCastro? Ryan Shazier? Vince Williams? I could keep going. All I'm saying is I don't know how we can fall. How do we fall in so much speculation? That's all I'm saying, guys. You're never going to get me with speculation. That's why I try not to do it to y'all. I cannot prove any of this stuff. I cannot prove what type of coaching style he prefers. Because the man always talks about physicality. I don't know. I just can't do it. But to each his own. 731, what you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Sam?
What's going on?
Merry Christmas to you, man. Happy New Year to everybody. First things first that I want to touch on. Back in the day when guys would come on the field, they would be intimidated as soon as they stepped on the field. When that first hit happened by the Steelers defense, and guys would, they would know what kind of game it was going to be from the very jump of the game. But when we got guys that's out there celebrating PBU and we're down 23-0, that's a character thing. You can't be celebrating down 23-0, a pass breakup. What was all that at in the first quarter, in the second quarter? That's what we need. And the issue that I think that we are having in the locker room is it's an internal issue. You got your wide receivers, your star wide receivers, getting 15-yard personal fouls. If I'm not mistaken, I think every single one of them has had a personal foul at some point this season.
Yeah, that's not good.
At some point. You're not going to win many ball games like that. And another thing, on the defense, we used to have guys like James Harrison and Woodley and Ferrier. When defensive players go out there and they get, pass interference calls and missing assignments, these guys would jump these guys' butts on the sideline. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that at all. So my question is it a coaching issue or is it a player issue? Because apparently these guys that we are picking up in the draft, these guys don't have an edge. They feel like they've made it. Just because they've gotten on the field, they feel like they've made it. And that's all that matters. Yeah. Mike Hilton was a great cornerback for us, and we let him get away We should have kept Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton is a Pittsburgh Steeler through and through. And that's all I got to say about that. And I'll let you finish what you're going to say, my man. And y'all have a good one.
Man, that's a great point. And these are the calls and opinions I love, guys. This is conversation. He's right. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And honestly, you do have to ask that question. Is it the players or the coaches? Now, here's the thing. Some people always try to say that, let's say, Tomlin only won the Super Bowl because he had Bill Cowher's players. All right. Let's say I give you that. He was able to coach those players. How do you explain that? Then how do you explain the players on that team that's exactly like what my man just said? All of those gritty players that have been on that team that he drafted. So again, I tend to lean towards players as far as how they act. I lean towards coaches on holding them accountable. That's where you can judge a Mike Tomlin or whoever your coach is. What do you do to hold them accountable? That's why I got to look at you and be like, kind of disagree with that or kind of agree with that. Whichever way he handles it. But a player acting out or something like that's on them. But like you said, could be culture. It could be a more relaxed culture that Mike Tomlin has created and allows them to be grown men, and it blows up on them. Think about the Antonio Brown, the infamous Facebook thing. Antonio Brown may have exposed the relaxed nature that maybe Tomlin allowed. I'll give you all a perfect example. On my job, right? I'm a senior manager at my job. It's not for me to brag about the title or nothing. I'm just trying to paint a picture. I'm a senior manager. I manage people. I let them do their job. As long as they do their job, I ain't on them. I ain't on their head. I have a very relaxed environment. But they know when I'm about business, I'm about business. They know that. We can ha-ha, kiki, and all of that as long as you doing your job. But I'm not a micromanager. So every now and then somebody messes up. I have to come down on them. But that's on them to make that personal decision. It ain't on me. Because I'm not the micromanager and checking every day. I don't do that. I let you be an adult. You're grown. And that's all I'm saying. I don't think you can hold anybody, any single person accountable for someone else's actions. That's just my belief as a person. Now, again, how you handle them when they do something, that's where the coaching skills or tactics come into play. Y'all get what I'm saying? So that's why you won't hear me dive into those type of components, because it's like now we're getting too far into the weeds of stuff that we don't know. None of us know. So I just personally choose to try not to speculate on stuff that I don't know. That's all. All right, guys. Area code 484. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Sam? Just to quickly comment on the last caller's point. You got to understand, like, the majority of our team is younger. So guys are going to celebrate after past breakups, regardless of the score. You know what I'm saying? We don't have those gritty players because there's not really a veteran presence in the locker room. Like, it's younger guys. So they're going to get some of them personal fouls and make mistakes. It is up to Tomlin to understand that was wrong and coach them through that. But you got to give guys a chance to grow. But the main point that I wanted to make is to talk about Matt Canada and the offense. Because I feel like he's been terrible this year. I feel like he's not creative. He calls the wrong plays at the wrong time. I personally don't want him to be our offensive coordinator going into next season. I'm not sure how anybody else feels. So my question to you and the rest of the chat is, how do y'all feel about Todd Haley coming back to coach our offense? In my opinion, he was our most successful offensive coordinator in the Roethlisberger era. The numbers back that up. And as far as I understand, he's a high school football coach right now. So I don't think he's coaching for any college team or any other NFL team. So I would like to see Todd Haley come back. Ben Roethlisberger's not here after this season, most likely. I feel like that was the main reason why he didn't get his contract renewed with us, is because of his relationship with Roethlisberger. So I would like to see him come back. How do you feel about that? How does the chat feel about that?
Man, that's a good point. Thank you for your call. I'm not opposed to Todd Haley. I mean, if we remember, Todd Haley started the trend of keeping Ben clean. Started the trend of Ben becoming one of the guys that releases the ball fastest. One of the fastest in the league. That was Todd Haley. It does depend on who the quarterback is. I'm not going to act like Todd Haley was, not knowing him as this, he was good, but I definitely liked him. I had issues with him as well. Yeah. Oh, really quick. Shout outs to Angie Janine for becoming an extended family member. Round of applause. I appreciate that. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to Todd Haley, but whoever your quarterback is really gonna write the story. And this is not directed at you 484, but I did see somebody else in the chat. I think it was Mark Malone. Shout out to Mark Malone. He says Matt Canada has got to go, and a lot of people have said that. But if I'm being honest, this proves my point in terms of fan bases, right? The Steelers are generally not like this. You usually see this happen with other fan bases. You see how we ready to throw Matt Canada in the trash after one season? One season. And I always feel like you got to give people a chance, man. You know what I mean? I can understand some of y'all saying it's time for Tomlin to go. It's been 15 years. Like I said, I can't argue that just off of sheer length of time. I just don't think you're going to get your wish because of the way the Steelers do business. But y'all ready to throw Matt Canada away in 1 year? Yeah, I have not agreed with a lot of his play calls, man, but I can't say this one season writes his story. With a bad offensive line, an aged quarterback, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big component of throwing people away so quick. I think a lot of organizations make that mistake. They get rid of coaches so fast, and they never allow time for them to settle in. Just my thoughts. Last call of the night, man. 84 up. Oh, there it is. 843. What you got for us?
Yeah, hey Sam.
What's going on?
I got two questions. Why we don't run no routes past the first down marker? And why is Anthony Miller and Steve still in the hat?
Man, that is a number one question. Boy, that was short and sweet, but you hit it right on the head. This is something that I see a lot when I watch the film. The route combinations that we run sometimes to get a first down, especially when it's like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, man, y'all would be sick. We either running short of the sticks or we running these super deep comeback routes. And all of the receivers are running the same route. I got to put that in Matt Canada's lap. But I also cannot forget what Matt Canada said at the beginning of the season. He said, and I quote, "I will be running the plays Ben Roethlisberger is comfortable with." And this is the only reason why I shoot Matt Canada a little bit of bail. I'm willing to see what he does with the next quarterback before I'm ready to throw him in the trash. Because clearly you can see that some of this is the Ben Roethlisberger show. The empty sets and all of that, that's Ben. You know, in the frequency in which we run it. The RPO stuff, that's more Matt Canada because we weren't really doing a ton of that before. We did it some, but that's more Matt Canada. Because remember, Randy Fichtner also was this creative guy in college. Did we see a lot of that? So that's why it tends to lean me more towards it's what Ben is comfortable with. And I understand that. You're an 18-year veteran. Of course you're going to get input from him. So like I said, man, I'm willing to give him another season, with another quarterback to see what he's made of. But man, this show has been extremely long tonight, guys. So let's wrap this up and let me get into the actual main topic. It won't take long, but the headline title: is this Ben Roethlisberger's last home game? Potentially, yes. I think it is. I do think Ben Roethlisberger is retiring. I do think I got to interrupt myself because I have a donation. So a round of applause to Captain Spartan. And I see we got the ignorant has returned. Love Face has returned. So let me get Love Face out of here. Oh, have mercy. I don't know how y'all get y'all rocks off just being idiots and bots and whatever. But real quick, man, Captain Spartan says, and I quote, "We can say give Matt Canada a chance, but there's a reason he's never lasted more than 2 years and 10 of his stops." That's a good point. By the way, appreciate all the Steelers family here and you, Sim. Sorry, don't always stop by. No problem, man. Appreciate you as always. Anytime you come by, man, listen, you guys watch me at your leisure. So when you're able to do it, I appreciate it. When you can't do it, there's no big problem. But yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But again, even with that said, he's been able to jump around. In college, he has been successful in a couple stops. I just still feel like he has something because you kind of see it. If we're being fair, he has something. So I'm willing to see what he can do with another quarterback, whether that's Mason Rudolph or a free agent or a draft pick, before I'm ready to just throw him in the trash immediately. Like I said, I feel like our team, our organization, we're not really the type that jumps off so quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just not ready to throw people in the trash that fast. That's all. Ben Roethlisberger. We got another member of the family. Thank you to Reggie Reg. It hasn't popped up yet, but I see it. There it is. Round of applause. I really appreciate that. And by the way, all 22 footage of the Titans. You guys voted for the Titans game. That should be coming your way probably tomorrow, extended family members. So be on the lookout for that, because sometimes I post these videos and y'all don't watch them. So definitely make sure you're utilizing your special content. If you get something for your paid service. Round of applause to Lyle McCombs for the donation. Yeah, I think this is his last home game, man. I think the team is gonna get up to play. It's Monday night. This is a lot weighing on Ben Roethlisberger if he knows for sure he's retiring. This is his last game, potentially, more than likely, at Heinz Field. His last Monday night game, his last primetime game. Yeah. And, whether the season ends in the playoff run or not, you might want to win your last home game. You might want to win one more time against a divisional opponent. You might want to win one more time against a Ohio team. You might want to keep your streak and your dominance going. So what that means for this team, I'm going to be honest, and we'll get more into this, man, as the season, wraps up and things like that. But listen, man, we could be looking at more seasons like this. You never know. As much as some of us, I say some of us because some of you have said this, as much as you might want Ben Roethlisberger to go, Ben Roethlisberger has been pivotal in some of these wins and success that we've had over the last couple seasons, even though he might not have played his best. We're going to really see what it looks like without him, and hopefully we get lucky. Maybe we get a situation like when we got Ben, his rookie year. We get a guy like that can come in and win football games. But I don't know. This is a different era. You know, some of you don't think Mason Rudolph can do that. Some of you don't think he's even a stopgap. Some of you guys don't even think who the draft class right now is deep enough. You know, if it's not a Kenny Pickett or, you know, a Malik Willis, which I know some of you guys are on the fence with him. He's just super talented. It might not be a Matt Corral. Some of these other guys I haven't really watched. I haven't really watched Riddler. I've watched a little bit of Carson Strong. You know, it might not be some of the quote unquote guys of the draft class. might be a free. We don't know what it's gonna be. But all in all, man, I think the team will show up on Monday. They will try to play the hard as they can. And like I said, if this is Ben's last home game, man, it's been a pleasure to watch him. I'm definitely going to give him his flowers. And yeah, man, you know, we could very well be watching the start of a new era, you know, and we just have to face that. You know, we were the dominant Steelers. We're not that anymore at the moment. I've been saying this. The Steelers are in rebuild mode, period. That's what they're doing. We have to accept that. I know we're all critical of this and that and this coach, that coach. I get it. But the fact of the matter is they're just not the Steelers of old for whatever the reason is. And the sooner you realize that, the better you feel. Because like I said, I think you're wasting energy hating Mike Tomlin because you're going to have to hate him for 3 more years more than likely. We can all sit here and discuss the things we don't like that he does. I've done it on this show, right? But I just think you're wasting energy having just blatant hate for anybody on the team. Same with Devin Bush. Guess what? Devin Bush ain't getting cut. You know, we should be able to just discuss the good, bad, and the ugly of each player and each coach on the team, and we should hope that they do better. Because you're wasting your breath and your energy if you think that these guys are going to go. And Matt Canada is likely not to go. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know what his contract situation looks like, but he's likely to not be fired. That's the key component you guys have to remember with the Steelers. They don't really fire coaches. They let their contracts expire. And I don't know what Matt Canada's contract situation was. So there you have it. In terms of will they win Monday night, we'll discuss it on the pregame show. I don't know for sure which night it would be on now. More than likely, maybe Saturday. I know it's New Year's Day, but maybe Saturday. We'll see. But I will say this. I don't have a good feeling going into the game. Why should I? What are y'all going to say? Well, we beat Cleveland in Cleveland. We was able to stop the run in Cleveland. Sure we were. But have we stopped the run since then? I have no confidence that we're going to do it again. I do not. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Cleveland didn't have both backs available in that game. Did they not? Somebody help me in the chat. Did they not? I don't think both Chubb and Hunt were available. So what scares me about the game, and like I said, I'll get more into it when I do the pregame show, is Ben Roethlisberger's predictability on offense as far as the type of routes, the taking the shots downfield and those type of things. Cleveland is going to be ready for that. So if we can't run the football and if we can't stop the run, we probably don't win. It's not likely it's going to go the same way it did in Cleveland. So, yeah, Hunt was hurt. Yeah, I know one of those dudes was out. So there you have it, guys. But all right, man. I spent a lot of time with you guys tonight. Let's read a few comments. Just giving a heads up to 484 who's still listening. I'm about to shut down Blog Talk right about now. You can still definitely tune in to the stream, but I'm only going to be a few more minutes. And throw your comments out there, guys. Questions, concerns, hate, dislike, whatever y'all got for a few minutes. What y'all got? Big Jim Slade says, last time I looked, Steelers let CEH pound Carlos Edwards-Hilaire, pound on them and break tackles. Mike Hilton is tackling. Go look at tackle for loss for Mike Hilton. Okay. I know a couple of you guys keep talking about Mike Hilton, but we cannot have selective memory. We all know that the Steelers were trying to save and absorb and, manifest cap. And at that time, they assumed that Mike Hilton was going to, price himself out. And, I don't think what he signed with the Bengals was astronomical. But again, the Steelers were just playing that game. And again, I wish we would have kept Mike Hilton, but, it's a business thing. I don't think they willingly let Mike Hilton go. You feel what I'm saying? And again, guys, what you guys always have to remember this. I think you guys forget this component. Players make their own decisions. Players go for the money. Players, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes your team can't pay or they're not willing to pay as much. Because again, as much as we liked Mike Hilton, do we all recall that Mike Hilton wasn't that great in coverage? Did okay, but remember when we were all favoring Cam Sutton over him in the slot? Not saying I didn't want Mike Hilton back, but you have to always remember those factors. What does the player want? I think you guys, that you lose that in translation sometimes. Thunder God says, Sim, I had to get on my cuz the other day. He was the starting tailback for Canada at Pitt, Darren Hall. Had me all hyped for this season, this offense. That's what's up, man. That's your cousin. Hey, look, listen, man. Honestly, Thunder God, man, if you don't mind, I mean, I don't know, you don't have to call, but if you want to call in one night or put the information here in the chat, can you please get some information from Darren Hall as far as how I don't want to put Darren Hall out there or nothing like that. I mean, this little old show, who's going to hear it? You never know. But I don't want him to spill the beans, but can you gauge how he feels about Matt Canada? Because, see, we're just fans. Some of these people have played for these coaches or something like that, and they know the real person. It's always good to hear those perspectives. Like I said, I respect what Ike Taylor is saying, Arthur Moats, and others. But see, I think Arthur Moats gives both sides of the coin. That's what I like about Arthur Moats. He gives both sides of the equation. Even when they talked about, do you think Tomlin has lost the locker room? He expounded on what he thinks could be happening. And he gives criticism where criticism is needed. But he's a fan, because he played for the man. And that's what I'm saying. As just a fan, I like Mike Tomlin more than I dislike Mike Tomlin. But there are dislikes that I have about Mike Tomlin. That's fair. I think when we get into these debates, some people ride their opinion too much. You seem to think that somebody only loves him or they only hate him. Shouldn't be that way. Like, none of us, actually, we should never be sitting here on the show having that type of like back and forth banter. It should be more conversation. Well, I don't really like this about him because he does this and this and this. That's how we all should be talking as fans, as a fan base. It shouldn't be all of that finger pointing. I don't understand how we get there. Me personally. Let's see. There was a comment I saw from Sade I wanted to read. She says, exactly, Sim, we were up against the cap. We cannot retain everybody. Yeah, that is a fact. Mark Malone says, Tuitt was a huge loss this year. It absolutely was, Mark. And that's the thing. I think we forget that sometimes too, man. That run defense got gouged immediately once there was no Tuitt, there was no Alu. Maybe some people don't realize how significant those guys was. A lot of times the attention that Alu and Stephon Tuitt would warrant, it allowed the running backs. It allowed the linebackers to roam and run free. Like, that's important. I will give credit to Robert Spillane, even though you missed the tackle, homeboy. But y'all see how he shot the gap on that first touchdown? And of course, Edwards-Helaire broke the tackle, but that's what I like. That was physicality. Got to make the tackle, though. But that's the thing that Devin Bush hadn't been doing this whole season. He's starting to get back to it a little bit in his last 3 games that he played, but that's what we had been missing. And Spillane at least gives you that effort. A couple more. DC TV says 3 teams that dropped the ball last decade: Steelers, Cowboys, and Falcons. Fair. Definitely fair. Falcons, y'all should have won that. That's all I'm going to say. Cowboys, I mean, y'all just be having too talented of a team to not. It kind of reminds you of our Steelers, right? The Cowboys have been too talented the last few years to not do nothing. Barely winning playoff games. And the Steelers, I mean, all you got to do is just talk about the Killer Bee era. I mean, what a disappointment. If we would have had even this year's defense for the Killer Bee era, we would be a much better outfit. Let's see. Why Diggy says, what do you think about seeing if Cam Hayward has any trade value during this rebuilding process? Not saying they should trade him, but should they consider it? I'm going to say no, why Diggy? I'm going to say it's Tuitt that you trade. For one, Tuitt's value might be a little higher because he's younger and he has the tape out there from when he was healthy. He has had a season off, so he probably is going to appear more fresh. Cam Hayward, I don't think you can. He's a guy that I don't think you trade Cam Hayward right now while you're rebuilding. You need a cog, in the middle of that defense. You need to, especially when we're in the nickel, you need somebody like Cam, a solidified veteran that is balling every week. You pair somebody else with him. You pair him with a Louder Milk or somebody like that and let that rebuild process play itself out. I'm not trading Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward retires a Pittsburgh Steeler, in my opinion. The kid is from Pittsburgh. He bleeds Pittsburgh. He's a true Steeler. Not trading Cam Hayward. I am allowing him to retire on his own merit. That's just me. Not saying that's the right way. That's just me. Wave Dave says some of y'all got to take the Madden glasses off. Yeah, man. Dr. Trey says the Steelers ran up against Tom Brady and the Patriots. We were competitive at least. Yeah. Just don't bring up that AFC Championship game. Jesus. Man. That defense was Swiss cheese. Miss Debbie says Cam is a true all-around leader of this club. He is never getting traded. I'm with you. Oh, football mind being spicy. He says, again, I watch more film probably than anyone else in this chat. I'm a real football guy. I'll leave Madden up for Kenyon. Wow. Don't do that. Don't do that, football mind. And anybody else that's doing that. Y'all chill out. Chill out. That's not what I promote here. I promote good conversation, good debate, good banter. None of that personal attack stuff. Y'all don't do that. Nobody. I'm talking to everybody in the chat. We don't need to do that. There's no need. None of us have the answers. None of us are on the staff. If any of us was on the staff and some of these things were still happening, then what would you say? I'm just saying. In football mind, if that's what you do, then I would hope that you would have a job out there somewhere. And Kenyon, don't y'all do that, man. Let's keep it classy, man. Y'all don't need to do that. Last one. Brother Mark says our secondary would still be in soft zone and giving wide receivers too much cushion, even with Minka and our front seven being healthy. You said would still, what are we referring to, Mark? You said would still be. So I think you're referring to, paint that picture for me because I may have missed your original comment. Yeah, see, Miss Debbie says she tried to stop that earlier. That's not opinion, that's personal. Yeah, just don't get personal, guys. And I get it. We all men. I don't know which one of y'all started it. And again, Kenyon is my guy. Y'all know that. It's my brother. I'm riding for Kenyon. But I'll just tell both of y'all or whoever else, like, I know we men and all that, but we don't have to be personal. But at the same time, whoever did kick it off, they're going to respond. So I think what we could do at this point, I ain't mad at either one of y'all or either anybody else because you're gonna respond. But let's kill that, man. We don't need to do that, man, because at that point, we're not having a good time. You know what I mean? We're not having a good time. Let's see. I know, Kenya. That's why I'm saying, like, we ain't even gotta do that, man. We ain't even gotta do that. Big Jim Slade said, "What are you talking about?" You said, "Well, don't call the dude out then." I'm talking to everybody. What y'all talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know. Whatever. I guess I'm being misconstrued. Yeah, like I said, I don't know who started it. I wasn't watching it. But like I said, Kenyon is my dude, but I would say the same thing. Don't go personal. I would say the same. See, you know what disappoints me is some of y'all try to play me like I'm a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you ain't get what I just said, that analogy, then it ain't for you. But you try to play me like I'm like, oh, he's gonna take. No, I speak my truth in my mind to everybody. It ain't no, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't cherry pick, bro. Like I said, and Kenyon is my guy. And like I said, if Kenyon started it, then I would say the same thing to Kenyon. Like, nah, man, don't go personal. That's what real friends do. Like, you could say when somebody didn't do something that Mike was and he could say the same thing to me. If he like, man, you probably shouldn't have said that. So yeah, y'all, I'm telling you, some of y'all be trying to play me like I'm a sucker, man. That's hilarious. But all right, man, let's go ahead and get out of here, man. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Why Diggy says, I just want to see them fight until the end, and if they end with them in the playoffs, then so be it. And I think Sade asked me would I like to see it. I don't know, man. I really don't want to see him in the playoffs. If I'm being honest, my fan side wants to see it. Just, you don't want to see anybody quit. But if I'm thinking about the future, I mean, it might be better for us to be in better draft position. I don't know. But the side of me that doesn't want to see us in the playoffs is if we just go there and stink it up. Imagine we go in the playoffs and we play like we played against Kansas City. I'd rather not see that. But if somehow they win Monday, they go to Baltimore and win, they sneak in the playoffs and they playing good football, sure, why wouldn't I want to see that? But I just don't want to see this poo butt team. And I say poo butt because they so heckle and jekyll, man. Like, yeah, man. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And yeah, I guess I will read the comments later to see what y'all been talking about because I've been missing it. But yeah, just let's just keep it non-personal, guys. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. But again, if y'all haven't already, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cut on your notifications and hit that like button. If you like what you saw tonight, make sure you hit that like button. Outside of that, you will see me again for the pre-game show. Either Friday or Saturday. Might be Sunday, being that we don't play till Monday. I don't know yet. It's New Year's weekend. But all right, man, peace and love, guys. Y'all be safe. Have a happy New Year, because I probably won't talk to you guys until after that. So please have a happy New Year. Please be safe. Please be responsible. God bless. And thank you guys for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.